they weren't chosen by accident. Jurors in Disguise, a jury investigations podcast, exposes jurors who lied their way onto the jury to secure a guilty verdict. Each episode, owner and founder MaryRose Peterson pulls back the curtain on real cases, revealing misconduct buried in lies beyond the gavel. Visit us on YouTube at youtube.com/@juryinvestigations.
Hello and welcome to another podcast of Jurors in Disguise. My name is MaryRose Peterson and I own Covert Ops Jury Investigations. As a result of one of my podcasts, someone reached out. I called her, and after listening to her story, which is horrifying, I was compelled to bring her on to my podcast and have her tell her story to you. The injustice that has been done to her and her family is egregious. It is shocking. It is also something that can easily happen to any one of us. She did not have a jury trial, but she has suffered greatly at the hands of corruption. In this podcast, you're going to hear her tell her story. You're going to hear her name names at the end. You're going to hear the things that the government in her country has tried to cover up. I will not name her. I will not say where she's speaking from to protect her and her family, because their lives are in jeopardy, as you will hear.
I'll say it started from the 11th of August 2019.
Okay.
But prior to that, I notice when anyone, from time to time, not always, when someone used the bathroom, had a shower or whatever,
Right.
my bedroom, and I had laminate flooring, my bedroom floor would be wet. So I would report it to the council. They would set people up. They'd take the panel from the bath,
Right.
seal gaps, blah, blah, blah. But it was still happening. But on the 11th of August 2019, my family and I, we were actually out. We were away for the weekend, and my neighbor called me. One of my neighbors called and said she thinks I've got a leak because all her walls are wet.
Oh, no.
And yeah, so we rushed home. And the sad thing about it is I actually videoed that night. I videoed the leak. There was buckets of water coming out of dripping from the ceilings, the bedroom ceiling. I videoed it. But unfortunately, Lambeth Council have seized all my property. The 2 mobiles I have, all, my videos, my evidence, they've seized them. They have seized.
They took your phones?
They've taken everything. They've taken everything. I've been in the same clothes since the 24th of November 2025. They've taken everything. They will not return anything. My mom's wedding ring, my passport, my CPAP machine that I use for breathing during the night, my hearing aids, everything, my passports. I've emailed numerous times. Please, can I just have these things back? And they've just totally ignored me. Without a solicitor, they've just been able to do what they want to do. They changed the locks. And they put, I've got photos. They put a metal cage over the whole door. So, I received a call from my neighbor to say she found our mail in the front garden, and since then none of us have had any mail. And I'm thinking, like, the council have it in for me. What have my family done wrong? They've done nothing wrong.
Right.
They've done absolutely nothing wrong. Come for me.
Right.
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 Spent a lot of time crying. So that's why I sit in the car a lot, or I might go to the library, or I might, do a few workshops. There's places I can go and get a hot meal. Or I spent some time in a shelter, a couple of weeks, and there were, my expectation of the shelter was very different from what I actually experienced. I thought there would be drug addicts and things like that, but no, they were mature women, some were working.
Wow.
Some were working, every morning you can have breakfast. I can't eat very early, but you can have breakfast and then you've got to leave by 7
That is early.
in the morning, and then get to every single evening was a different venue that you had to go to, different church. They were all churches.
So you had to keep moving around?
Yes, and it really
Wow.
opened my eyes, because you had to take your property with you. There was one particular young girl, and I thank God for her. I'm ready to. As soon as she saw me stand up to go and get the chairs, she would run in front of me and connect them for me.
Oh.
And I was sleeping on 3 chairs.
Wow.
One had my head and shoulders, the other had half of my middle, and the other chair has my legs. So
Yeah.
bottom part, my legs and my feet. Absolutely uncomfortable. Every time I moved, the chair slipped this way and that.
Oh no. Yeah. You almost ended on the floor. Oh.
There was times I thought, a lot of the time I would sit up, just sit up. Or I would spend, a bit of time back in the car where I could lie down properly.
Right.
That's what I say, I've spent a lot of time in the car. The difficulty I had myself finding a solicitor, even pro bono, my case has become so complex,
Right.
and the council don't want anyone to touch it.
Right.
Because they know they've done wrong. I know they've done wrong. They know they've done wrong. You know what they've done.
Right.
They knew about asbestos for a whole 10 years and kept it from me. I serve a living God, because out of the blue in 2023, someone with the Lambeth Council, I don't know the person, I only have the name from the email, sent me the report. And it was dated 2013.
Wow.
And yet the council kept denying any asbestos. In fact, they kept taking me to court, accusing me of refusing access from 2020, when all the cases were online because of the lockdown. Up until 2023, 2024, it was the same judge. And because couldn't get a solicitor. It's almost as if, I mean, Lambeth, they had the money. The barristers, both the judges, you know, I witnessed a lot. But who's going to believe me?
I would imagine that that has contributed to the health issues, the devastating health concerns that you have now.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And the thing about it, you know, that's why I I have to hold on to that mustard seed faith. The thing about it is when the report was sent to my email, two managers from Lambeth Council attempted but failed to retrieve it back.
Wow.
And I even have the email trail with their conversation between each other. And because I had opened it and I had sent it, you know, to trusted family and friends,
Smart. That was smart.
they then sent me a letter of apology. And so everything they have done does not make sense because they know they're wrong doing it.
Right.
You don't apologize unless you know you've done something wrong. And that everything they have done is because they want everyone else to believe that I am the liar. The of council had me held in contempt of court. And there was a gentleman who was helping me with all the forms and the paperwork and all the legal jargon. God bless him so much. And I kept saying to him, Lambeth Council are going to try and prevent you from helping me. I have all the emails. And he kept responding, they can't. But you know what? Just recently, he emailed me to say he can no longer help me. These people kicked me when I was already down. All because of an asbestos test that they kept denying to the original judge. They even told the judge there was no reason for them to move us out. They could do the work around us because they kept sending the contractors, and they're the ones who told me that's asbestos all over the floor. I need my case to come up. There needs to be an investigation because if they kept the asbestos report from me for 10 years and kept telling the original judge there's no asbestos, then how many other properties?
Right.
Now, mine was disturbed because the ceilings collapsed. My bedroom ceiling collapsed in 2020. So I was living in the living room. And then my kitchen ceiling collapsed in 2020. Up until last year when they locked me out, the place was still leaking.
Wow.
The borough of Lambeth is quite big. And so this has to go viral in order for not only my neighbours or those on my road to ask, but others, everyone within the borough of Lambeth Council. And I did have a solicitor. He sent a surveyor and he told me it's in my housing file that Lambeth have known since 2013 that there was asbestos in my property. 3 days ago, someone from the council dropped one single key, the new key, because they changed the locks.
Okay.
Through the letterbox of where my family are.
Okay.
I met with my children. I think it was dropped through the letterbox. 3:33. By 5 o'clock, I had returned it back to the town hall. The reason I did that is because if I enter the property, they will accuse me of taking those things. They are supposed to do, and according to their own email, a walkthrough. I end up having panic attacks, just thinking of strangers going into my home and going through my things. I even had a bag of dirty washing. I don't know what they've done with it from November. Now, if they didn't have anything to hide, they would have done the inventory and they would have allowed me to put what they deem not contaminated with asbestos in my old storage. They have numerous emails. That's my saving grace.
Right. Yeah. You've got a paper trail.
They have not proved to me that they've even removed it. They won't give me any documentation, none whatsoever. It's about safety and the safety of my children. They are fully aware one of my children's lungs kept collapsing. I pleaded with them to move at least them out. And they ignored me, telling the original judge there's no asbestos. They have a lot to answer for.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
And whilst I don't have a solicitor, they're on cloud nine. And the judge, the original judge, she asked me why I didn't go to the first hearing. And I said to her, I thought this was the first hearing.
Wow.
She said, that was a hearing before. This is where I know Lambeth Council, they know the truth.
Yes,
They know the truth. She said there was a hearing and I didn't turn up, so they adjourned it. And I said, I didn't know. Ask the housing officer if she served me with the papers. The housing officer, Jessica Toppin, she said yes. And I said she didn't. By that time, because they kept lying, I got myself a Ring doorbell.
Yes.
So the judge asked Jessica Toppin, the housing officer, what day she served me with the papers. I can't even remember the date she gave, but the judge herself said, you couldn't have served the papers on that. That's why the council needed, and I use the word needed, to remove her for someone else. All Lambeth Council were admitted to was damp and mold in the property. That's the only thing they were admitting to. And all along they knew. There's a lot against this council. So the judge, the original judge, asked me to find a reputable company that could do a damp and mold test. She gave me a time frame. Jessica Toppin, the housing officer, emailed me to say their surveyor could not make that date.
Oh, how convenient.
Could I change it to another date? Now, the date she wanted to change it to was over the time frame, the date that the judge had ordered. So I said to her, no. I said no. I emailed back and I said no. And I said, surely you don't just have one surveyor. I didn't get a damp and mold specialist. I paid for come and do an asbestos test.
Okay.
But I didn't tell the council, tell the court.
I'd love it.
So when we went back to court, Lambeth Council's barrister asked the judge to throw it out.
Yeah. I'm sure they did.
And when she looked at me, I said, Judge, how else was I to prove that there's asbestos in the property? So then the judge said, okay, I'm not going to throw it out. Lambeth Council, you do your own. Hey ho, that's when they couldn't lie anymore.
Right.
The surveyor that they sent, he rang me and he said, Kunja, who was the Lambeth solicitor at the time, had asked him to lie.
Wow.
It's reports That's why I cannot let this go.
No.
I cannot.
No.
The Tampa Falls don't want to pay compensation, so guess what? They've slapped me with court costs, totaling almost £20,000. My prayer all through this journey has been, Father God, send me a destiny helper. And I say that in you because I'm telling you the amount of people I have emailed, celebrities, journalists.
Right.
No one wants to touch my case.
No.
I've even had some journalists contact me to say what they could get from their conversation with Lambeth Council was that they were victim blamers. They have to shield the truth because once the truth comes out, even the leader of the council, her job will be in jeopardy.
Yes.
Because she was in my property. She saw the house. She was there.
Wow.
So even though they've gone in and they've wiped the slate clean, she's my witness.
Right. Right.
She is my witness. You signed on those words, touch not my anointed, do my prophets any harm.
Right.
I've been standing on those words, touch not my anointed, touch not God's anointed. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Just don't do it. Right. It pays to speak out. That's the only way I know to get justice is to refuse to be silent. And I'm thankful that you are refusing to be silent, because if you're silent, then they win.
Then they win. And there could potentially be other households, thousands of other households.
Yes.
They have secretly done this asbestos test soil, know the results, and have kept it. It's only the grace of God that this person, he sent it to me, and 2 senior managers attempted to retrieve it back. What does that tell you? I have their letter of apology, and in their letter of apology, it states I was not meant to see it. It's actually on my TikTok.
Okay. Okay. Good.
African Council.
Okay.
It's on there.
Okay.
What I would like to conclude with is this. Funmi Makunja, Lambeth Council Solicitor. Zena Sugden, Lambeth Council Solicitor. Sophie Taylor, former head of Lambeth Council Department. Tim Fairhurst, Senior Manager, and one of the 2 who attempted to retrieve the asbestos report. And who is the other one? Jessica Toppin, Housing Officer. Ranjit Boss, KC. Your witness statement brought tears to my eyes, where you wrote that I am preserving the debris from the collapsed ceiling. I emailed you, I found out where you are, and I emailed you and I asked you which bin, in the States you call it trash bin,
Right.
which trash bin should I place the asbestos soaked debris into? It was not my job to remove it. I'm calling all of you out in the hope that whoever knows you will know what you have done to me. that has also affected my family who have done nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong. You have seized all my property. You have seized our mail. One of my son's bank has been righted to him because the mail is being returned. Your plan was to inflict the most painful trauma on me. And I'm not going to lie, you succeeded. I have a God, and He's going to come through for me.
Amen.
So seeing the substance in particular, whether you have left Lambeth Council or not, I'm calling you out. Tunde Akinyuyu, you falsely accused my children of, according to your witness statements, interfering with the contractors. Twice I asked them to take days off work to attend court. And then I emailed you and I said, which one? To date, you have not been able to tell me. I'm still asking you, Tunde Akinyuyu, you have recently been appointed head of another division. I'm calling you out. You still need to tell me which of my children you were referring to, because I'm not going to allow you to falsely accuse my children. You have falsely accused me. And I've challenged you. And each time I challenge you in emails, you fail to respond. And that says a lot about who you are.
Yeah.
And I end there.
I thank my friend for the courage to come on this show and speak out about the corruption that has devastated her and her family and continues to do so. Since 2019, they have been suffering, and they continue to suffer at the hands of these people who are known liars, admitted liars. This corruption has to stop, and I pray that hearing her story, you will help me be able to help her put an end to this. Thank you for watching and listening. If you know anything that can help my friend, please reach out to me. Our contact information will be at the conclusion of this video. Remember, the courtrooms may be silent, but we won't be. We will continue to speak up, we will speak out, and we will always speak the truth. Thank you and God bless. That's all for now.
All it takes is one to convict an innocent person. One Trojan juror, one biased agenda, one hidden motive. That's why we investigate juries. We identify the sinister players and expose them. Jury investigations. Our number one objective is to get you back into the courtroom, because a guilty verdict doesn't have to be the end of the story.